What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, 207 Nano Reefing. Today's video is mainly just going to be a vlog of my past 11 months with this tank, my ups and downs. I know you guys in previous videos have heard me talk about some ups and downs. I'm just going to put them all into one video and go from there. So, March 13th of last year, I started this tank. And then to cycle it, I went to Hannaford, bought one jumbo shrimp, threw that thing in there, let that thing decay for a little while, and there you go. Took it out, I don't know, 2 weeks later, and there you go. My bacteria started just a growing in there, you know. So, started with that. Once the tank was stable, we did some clownfish. I did 2 clownfish and my dottie. And then here comes mistake number 1. I went out and I bought a Montipora frag pack. A couple encrusting ones. Actually, they were all encrusting. No, there was one encrusting and there was one plate. Two plates, and there was 3 encrusting. And I think one of them didn't make the travel. I think it's been so long. I think one of them didn't make the travel, and then I put the rest in my tank, and within, I think overnight, one of them went completely white, lost all of its color, just died instantly. And that was the encrusting one. And then the 2 plate ones, one of them had some decent polyp extension for maybe 3 days. And then they died. So, you know, I had no idea my tank wasn't ready for Montipora. I thought coral was coral back then. You know, I had no idea between the difference between softies and LPS and SPS. I still don't know everything, you know, but I know more than what I did. So all the Monties died. Then talked to my buddy about it, and he says, well, just go softies. Go soft coral for now. And I looked up what softies were, and I got those orange Zoas, and those are the only coral that I've had since just about the beginning. Everything else has pretty much died. What else was there? There was a leather. I think it's a toadstool. Yeah, toadstool. Oh, there was a not toadstool. It was a leather, regardless. There was some cloves. I had some cloves, and I feel like there was something else too, but I can't remember. But yeah, the cloves took a while to die. The cloves did really good for a while there, probably 3-4 months. And then slowly got some more coral. You know, I don't remember exactly what coral I got, and I wish I kept all the pictures. I should have, so I could have showed you guys them all, but I wasn't thinking about doing YouTube back then, and I was embarrassed, you know, I won't lie. I'm sure it happens to every new reefer, honestly. I'm sure everything I've done has happened to every new reefer, but at the time and heat of the moment, I was like, what am I even fucking doing, you know? Like, I honestly, this summer I almost gave up on the fucking tank. I pretty much did, really, for a good little while. But anyways, so... And then I think we went to a frag swap. Me and my buddy went to a frag swap. Got a shit ton of coral. I got those Yodas, the tubs, these Fruit Loops, that jack-o'-lantern back there I got. Not that Duncan, but the Duncan that I traded with my buddy. I got a Duncan there. I think that was it. There was a ton of coral I got at the frag swap. We and I got a bubble tip anemone, and that was mistake number 2. The bubble tip anemone. Not that it was a mistake buying it, it's what I did. So what you want to do with an anemone is you want to take flow completely off in the tank, or at least turn the wave maker off, and let it really figure out where it wants to go, and let it get a good footing in on the rock, and really let it grab a hold of it before you turn the flow back on. I didn't know that, and so I just threw it in there, and it was bouncing around, and I'm like, well, it'll find where it wants to go. It'll be fine. Went downstairs for a few minutes, came back up, and the friggin' bubble tip anemone is stuck to the side of my wave maker, and I full on panicked. I went into panic mode, and didn't turn the wave maker off like I should have. Grabbed my tongs, tried to pull it off of it while the wave maker was still on, and it slipped, and it actually sucked into the wave maker, and there it went, all into a million fucking pieces. So that was mistake number 2. I killed an anemone in my tank, and I really think that's really what almost crashed my tank. That and neglecting it. I neglected my tank pretty much all summer. I did a water change maybe every month. Maybe. Now, and there are some people who never do water changes. They swear by it. Oh, no, we don't do water changes. Water, you want to keep the bacteria in the water. Well, it didn't work for me. I'll tell you right now, it did not work for me at all. So that was mistake number 3. Neglecting my tank and not keeping up on the water change maintenance, so it was all learning curves. And I think that brings us to August. Let me see, did I do anything stupid in August? I guess I don't know if this affected my tank, but I did buy an algae reactor. Used on eBay. I bought it used, and when it came in, it looked all right. I guess I should have really looked it over. I set it up, and I just was having the hardest time getting algae to grow in it. Algae wasn't growing in my tank, but it really wasn't growing in the reactor either. Not the way I wanted it to, at least. So I put some mesh stuff in there, try to get the algae to grow on that, some white mesh, zip tied it inside. If I had it around, I'd show you. I think it's in the other room, but and I don't know what happened, but I was up here working out one day, and all of a sudden I could smell something burning, and it almost felt like an electrical fire. So I'm looking at the tank, I couldn't see nothing. So a little bit later on, maybe 30 minutes later, because I had a black fabric around the algae reactor so the red light wouldn't bother me while I was sleeping at night. I took the fabric off of it, and the light melted. The algae reactor plastic housing cracked, and it was leaking salt water onto the light. Now the light's a sealed unit, so I don't really know how it shorted out, but it completely shorted out and actually broke in half, burnt probably maybe this much of the light, and shit, lost my train of thought. Yeah, burned this much of the light, and so that's what I was smelling. That's what I was smelling burning. So I had to take the whole algae reactor apart. I mean, I just got rid of it. It wasn't doing what I wanted to do anyways. And honestly, my turbo snails keep this thing pretty clean. I've got a little bit of an algae bloom right now going on, but like I've said in previous videos, I'm almost positive that's only because I just turned the white lights on about a month and a half ago. Almost 2 months now, actually. But it's not bad. It's really not. It's manageable. All I'm going to do, either today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, because tomorrow's my water change day. I'll try to manually remove some with my fingers and the hose. That's what I did over here. I had a big old patch. I tried getting the snails to eat it, but if it gets too long, they won't even touch it for some reason. I don't know why. It's too much for them to handle, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so I got a little bit of an algae bloom right now. But yeah, that reactor, I just got rid of it. Like I said, I don't know if that did anything. I know I was losing salt for a while, and I couldn't figure out why. I couldn't figure out where my salt was going. And I think that's because when I took the algae reactor off, so I guess maybe that did affect the water because I was losing salt. So that was mistake number 4, was not checking everything, really. Not checking everything not double checking or triple checking everything. I should have been up more on checking everything is really what that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I was losing salt, and that's when I took everything apart of the algae reactor. There was this big old pile of salt right over here of just dried up salt. You know what I mean? So that's where it was all going. I was losing so much water out of that reactor that it was affecting my salt levels. So my salt was always low, and that killed a couple coral. And heat, I think heat. So the beginning of the summer, no, I missed a mistake. Beginning of the summer, there was it gets really hot in my room, really hot up here. So, and I didn't have the AC in there right off, and I didn't have a fan up here. That's really what screwed me, I think. This tank, I believe, almost got to 85, 90 degrees. Maybe not quite that hot, but it got hotter than 78, I can tell you that. So that killed a couple acans, almost killed my Favia, but that's coming back. That came back around, thank God. And so yeah, not reading up on and not being educated on what temperature swings can do to your tank. You know, a temperature swing can really hurt your tank. Especially in a small nano tank like these. And I guess this isn't technically a nano tank, it's a 32.5, so nanos really are like 10, 15, 20 gallons, even though I guess technically this is a nano, but it's not at the same time. I don't know how to really put that, but yeah, man, the temperature swing, it really screwed me. And these are all first year learning curve, you know, so, and I'm only saying all this stuff so you guys, when you guys watch this, if you guys actually do a tank, maybe you can learn from my mistakes, you know, because if you don't want to spend, and like this really wasn't, I mean, it's more money than you really want to spend on a fish tank, you know, really, but not at the same time, because if you're really going to get into it, I guess, but I don't know. I think altogether I had way under 1,000. I'm trying to think. Altogether to start up, I want to say it was under. I think the most expensive was the tank, honestly. Yeah, I think that was my most expensive buy, was the tank. But I went a cheaper route because this Frugal Flex comes in a kit. It comes in a freshwater kit or a saltwater kit. Well, I didn't do this on purpose. kind of just worked out in my favor. But when I was buying the tank, I bought the freshwater one because it was cheaper. And I was like, oh, well, there's no fucking difference between saltwater and freshwater tank. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a tank. Well, the difference is the light in it. That's the difference. And you need a good light to keep coral. So, but I wasn't going to use that light. I mean, I was at first, but when I got the fresh water and I showed a picture to my buddy, and he's like, so you're not going to be able to use that light if you want coral. And I says, oh, well then I'll just buy a light. I said, because, you know, and it actually ended up being cheaper to buy the Night Crew light and the tank than it would have been to buy the whole thing together from Fluval. So that worked out in my favor. But yeah, let's get back to my mistakes. So buying coral too early, not being patient, and not being educated on the right coral to get first. You know, if you want to do an SPS or SPS and acro main like dominant tank, you probably want to wait a little longer than a month to put coral in. You know, I like a mixed tank. I like the idea of being able to put softies, LPS, SPS, and acros all in one tank. I think that's really cool how you can bring a little piece of the ocean to your bedroom in Maine. You know, I think it's cool. So yeah, not being educated on the coral. Sorry, I lost my train of thought again. Temperature swings. Not being educated on that. Not being patient. Not checking salt as much as I should. And not, when I was losing the salt, I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, and I never once even checked the reactor until it almost caught fire. And that's something I needed to. That's something I need to work on, is checking everything. When you checked everything but one, chances are it's that one thing. And it never even clicked into my head that it was the reactor. It's no big deal now. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But. And then, let's see. Ever since then, though, I've been all right. I do have a fan for the summertime. I keep it up here. I usually put them up top and let it just cool the top of the water down. I get the AC usually on and in here, which keeps it cool. Salt's been perfect. I mean, it hasn't dropped. It hasn't risen since getting rid of the reactor, and so and I am educating myself more on SPS before I get it. Before I get more, at least I should say. I'm gonna watch a video tonight on some alkalinity. But yeah, guys, those are my mistakes. I think that was all of them. I could be wrong on that. I could have made some more. But that was it, guys. Mainly take your time in this hobby. You really don't want to rush anything, and that was my biggest obstacle to overcome, and I'm still trying to overcome it, because I was ready to spend fucking couple $100 on some SPS. I was ready. I had him picked out, and I was gonna hit the pay button, and then no, let's calm down and do some research first, because what I don't want to do is buy more coral and then it die, and then I'm sitting here fucking going, oh, what the fuck, that's not what I want. So but yeah, that's been my first year, guys. It's been really, really, really good since then. Since September, October, I really stepped up my water change maintenance schedule. I do it every week now. Every week, 2 gallons. Got my own RODI system now. Making water today, so that's so cool. I think that's cool. My new wave maker came in. Hygger Crossflow wave pump. This thing's pretty cool. It looks like this. Oop, there goes the magnet. That's okay. Looks like this. And it's gonna sit on top on this side, I believe, and just give me some really good top water agitation. I'm gonna read up on how to. It's pretty much the same as my other one. The controls are a little different, so I'm gonna have to read up on it. But it's pretty much the same. It's got all numbers, and you pick the numbers on on how high you want the flow and stuff like that. So, and I think what I'm gonna do is put both of them on a random and just have them facing each other and just go. Have this thing just flowing. But yeah, any questions or whatever, or you guys want to know more about my how should I put this? You guys want to know more about my mistakes, then hit me up in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, guys.